guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to bring you along as I make dinner for us. This meal here is called chicken garlic parmesan pasta, I believe. You can Pinterest it and it will come right up. This is a meal that we have around our menu at least once or twice a month. It's a hit here for our family. Here I'm cutting up some grapes for the little kids really quick. I've learned to cut the grapes for, I think it's 5 and under. It's a huge choking hazard. So I just do it all the time, even if I'm handing them over to Andrew. He's a little bit older. I'm just always thinking, what if he drops one and the baby grabs one and all of that. But anyway, getting that ready for the kiddos and getting back to getting this chicken cut up and ready for the dish. So while I was opening the fridge for a couple of things, Andrew spotted this pizza and he asked for it. So I'm going to go ahead and heat that up while I get dinner ready for all of us. And as you all know, Andrew, he will not eat chicken with the garlic parmesan meal. He just likes plain, well, not plain. He likes a well-seasoned grilled chicken, but nothing else on it. So I'm going to go ahead and save 2 of these breasts for him, and the rest are going to go in our dish with all the ingredients that I'm going to be adding to it to make it like a garlic parmesan dish with the pasta. But Andrew's going to be having his pizza while he waits, and then we'll have the chicken here ready. This little guy loves to eat, and I'm so grateful for that because, like I said, with autism, you just never know. You go through seasons that they like something, and then out of nowhere they don't, and all of that good stuff. So like I said, I'm enjoying that he's enjoying his protein at the moment, and praise God for that. Alrighty, so now I'm going to start seasoning. I like to top it with a good generous amount of olive oil. I get this big olive oil can at Costco. And as far as seasonings go, every time I grill, I use whatever I have in hand. So it could be anywhere from my basics and go-tos are going to be salt, pepper, garlic. And then if I have onion powder, I throw that in there. If I have a lemon, I throw that in there. Soy sauce. If I don't have mustard, I try to improvise with either, let's see, Greek yogurt or sour cream. And yeah, I just, make sure that it's well seasoned. And as you practice this, you get a little bit better and you kind of get an idea of what to do and how much to add. When I first started learning to cook, something that I would do is not add enough salt. And that was such a big pet peeve of mine. I just wanted to learn how to season things well. But let me tell you that practice does get you there. Now I can most of the time eyeball the amount that I'm putting and I'm good to go. But it did take a couple tries, a couple misses, and I thank my husband for going along on the ride. But you know that expression that people say, practice makes perfect? I wouldn't say that it makes perfect personally, but it makes close to perfect. And I'm super excited to always learn recipes, be in the kitchen, and someone that loves being in the kitchen with me that I adore is Andrew. Andrew has been spending so much time with me in the kitchen, mixing and being a part of every step. He'll be there for 30 minutes, for an hour. As long as I'm there, he's there staying occupied with me. He loves to watch me and help me where he can. So I love that. And I know I just have boys. I only have boys here at home at the moment. We want more kids. If God willing, He gives us maybe a girl in the future. And I would love to teach all my kiddos all things kitchen, just so they are equipped with those life skills as well. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and rub this chicken in I'm not gonna let it sit because I'm going straight outside to grill it, but if you have a chance to let it sit for 20, 30 minutes, I think that that will work better. Alrighty, guys, so I'm going to be talking to all my couples out there that are watching me that are married and have a child or children on the spectrum, or just, in general, have a special needs child. I just want to talk about the power in working together, the teamwork, and working together in marriage when navigating special needs. When I sit down and reflect in my life and in my marriage, I always can't help but get emotional and think how blessed I am. How blessed I am to have an amazing husband that hears me out, a spouse that cares for me, and the feeling is mutual, guys. I absolutely love my husband and I want nothing but the best for him. We remind each other constantly that we're a team, even in those, arguments or disagreements. We sometimes have to remind each other we are a team. If anyone doesn't want us to be a team here, it's going to be the enemy. And so just taking that teamwork serious and intentional when it comes to doing life, anywhere from home, work, life events, everything, guys, everything that life entails, just doing life together and being on the same page, being on board, supporting each other, rooting for each other, and not having a selfish hair in your body. Like, marriage is a beautiful thing, but marriage is also a lot of work, a lot of work. And that work will never end. Every time that I see people, older people, talking about marriage and talking about, what worked for them and what's the secret, honestly, man, they really say there's no secret. You just work at it. You don't give up. I remember hearing an older guy mention about comparing his marriage to a car. He had an old car that he's had since he was like young, like in his 20s, and he still had it 50 years later. And in that video, he was pointing at that car and he was like, marriage is like this. And he points at his car and he says, you take care of it and it will take care of you. And so in a car, you don't neglect the maintenance. You don't neglect gasoline. You don't neglect oil. There's certain things that you just absolutely cannot neglect in a car, or else it won't be able to do the things that, it's meant to do for you. And so in marriage, you also do not neglect certain areas just because it's too much work. Like, you just can't do that. And so for all my couples out there watching me, I encourage you to work on your marriage. And I'm not saying you're not or anything, but it's just a reminder that the enemy's always going to try to do the opposite of what we have to do. So keywords here for that would be communicate, do not stop talking, do not stop having those hard conversations. And a way that me and my husband, sometimes when things get a little bit tough, there's some conversations that you just feel very passionate about. And what has helped us, and we've heard a counselor say this before as well, is go on a walk. Go on a walk with your spouse. Something about being outside, being in nature, and just taking a walk with your spouse kind of simmers down those emotions, and you're actually able to have a very productive conversation. So that's something that me and my husband have done in the past. we have, those hard conversations. Later on, we'll have to figure something else out because our kids are growing up, and we can't have adult conversations in front of them. And so, but that's a way to have a conversation. You can obviously have one when your kiddos are sleeping, when they're napping. And guys, I'm gonna go on a rant here. So I had read an article a few years ago on this topic, and I'm so glad I revisited and looked into it again. So back in the 1990s to the 2000s, that decade had a study made for special needs parents and divorce rate. And that study stuck to my brain for some reason, but I didn't quite catch the years and some other information that was very important. So the divorce rate on that study was 60 to 80% higher. Wow, I was just like, oh my goodness, like that's honestly a little scary, right? But the more I looked into it, it was actually made on a small study. It was not a large number of people. This study was made on, I mean, a small study doesn't account for, like all of us. And so, looking into it, I was wondering what, the rates are nowadays. And it turns out that now there's more awareness into specifically autism I'm talking about, and many couples are staying together. The divorce rate is not significantly higher anymore. It's pretty much leveled to your regular people with no kids with autism. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, because just, divorce could be hard on the whole family. I come from a family that has been separated when I was 12. Not divorced, but separated. And I mean, they never got back, so divorced in their heart. Um, but to you parents that are on the same boat as us, I hope that this encourages you, because this report, it's actually reporting that the marriage is stronger. They reported that there's a stronger teamwork and resilience than before the child's diagnosis. And that's actually something that happened with me and Darius, me and my husband. We actually got like more united, more on a team, everything. Like we just had these certain feelings that I believe I've shared with you guys before, that Andrew has taught us a lot of things, and he's just 7 years old. That's one of them. It was to become a team and work hard. And that word resilience, when I read that on the article, I'm like, yes, yes, that's us. Like, we're not going to give up on our family and our child, and we're going to be a team. And it made us even more of that. It kind of like magnified that. And so, I don't know, I was actually um I don't know, in shock or surprised on divorce rate being, the same amount as your regular folks. I was just like, wow, like, so now special needs child is not bringing, the stress, or I'm sorry, it does bring the stress, but it's not bringing enough strain to get into that mentality of like giving up on your spouse and taking it as far as getting a divorce. Now, talking about shared loads as couples, there's going to be seasons where I feel like, I'll just speak for me and my husband, I guess, like for our marriage. There's seasons where I've needed him to carry me through, and then there's seasons where he's needed me to carry him through. And then there's seasons where everything's unicorns and rainbows. And so it's kind of like a roller coaster of a life, that we live here, especially as believers. We're not going to have it 100%, easy or good. There's going to be trials and tribulations. And, that's why we need God. We need to lean on Him. But there's times that I have had to step it up as a wife to help and support my husband, whether it's been emotionally, financially, um, you know, wherever he's needed me. And there's been seasons where he's expressed his feelings to me where I felt so bad because I felt like I was failing him as a wife. And I hate that. I hate that feeling. I hate that for him. I'm a human being. I'm a human being just like everyone else. And it's just such a horrible feeling, guys, to feel. And the thing about marriage, I'm gonna highlight this always, is communication. There could be things that you misinterpret, you misunderstand. There could be seasons where you don't even have, the energy to talk. Especially us as special needs parents, there's going to be seasons where, you just have rough days, rough seasons, and whatnot. But as a wife, ways that I come through for my first ministry, which is home, my home, it's not going to be work, it's not going to be, anything outside of this home. My husband, I mean, it goes without saying that God comes first. Then my husband comes second, my children third, then everything else. And certain things that I do to make sure that I show up for my first called ministry from God is from little day to day things, which is, you see, one that I'm doing right now is cleaning. Earlier, I was cooking. I take care of the kids. I do laundry. I take care of the home. Groceries, make sure we have everything. We're stocked up on supplies, toilet paper, you name it. I am the wife. I am the only person that can do all of those things for my husband and my children. There's no person that's going to come here and do it for me unless I hire someone out, unless, my husband, I don't know, was to bring someone else in the home for this stuff to happen. But that is my position, and I want to honor that, and I want to have pride in that. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of girls, I mean, speaking to my little brother sometimes, it makes me so sad how a lot of younger girls don't have that. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them because maybe they weren't taught. I didn't learn how to cook until I got married. I mean, just the little things that is obvious, eggs, and my husband jokes around that he knows how to make cereal and sandwiches and whatnot. But it just, I don't know, it's just super sad when I see and hear that, you know, um, girls, women nowadays, they don't know how to navigate that area in their lives that God has specifically assigned them for. There's certain duties that I have as a wife and certain duties that I have as a mother and as a homeowner, and I want to, be there and fulfill those duties. I don't want anyone else coming in and doing that for me, if that makes sense. Now, for my husband, as I said, there's been seasons where he was going through a rough patch, and we had to make like drastic changes, like to the point where I was asking him to quit his job. Now, I'm not saying go tell your husband to go quit their job, but he was stressing a lot with a specific job, and it was just no good. And by the grace of God, we have positioned ourselves in with a lot of sacrifice and a lot of no's and a lot of, being careful with our money. We have positioned ourselves where at the time, we could have gone down to one income. So, of course, as the wife, I just wanted to do everything to help my husband and say, hey, like, no more of being in that desk job, no more of, dealing with what you're dealing with. Let's just quit your job. Just quit your job. And at first he was in disbelief, but I showed him the numbers. I said, we're going to be good financially. We're going to be okay. And within a few hours, he just, he was working from home, and he comes out for his break and he says, I'm ready to put my 2 weeks notice. And so we went through that. We did it. We took a leap of faith. We said, you know what, like, one income, and we are gonna be okay. God is gonna provide, and we're gonna be good stewards of our money, and everything's gonna be okay. And so there's been seasons where I was working and I wanted to come back home with the kids, and or I would say a kid, when we had Andrew, and my husband came through for me too. He made me a stay-at-home mom for a year, and then I was ready to go back to the workforce, um, workplace, whatever you want to call it. But I did get work from home, so I was still home with Andrew. I did that until it didn't work out, guys. Once I had Elijah, he was a lot more needy. I was breastfeeding. I had a job where I have to be on the phone all day, and I would just hear my baby cry, even though my husband was trying his best to take care of him and do everything he could in his power. Bless his heart. He sometimes just couldn't get the baby to stop crying, and man, I was just praying to God, and I was saying, what am I doing here? What am I doing in this room here? I'm home, but this doesn't really help me because I could hear my baby crying. This is hard. And so again, me and my husband have a hard conversation. This time it was a little bit more tight on money, but I was just, at this point I was actually crying to my husband. I'm like, hey, this is really hard. Like, mentally is just hitting me. Like, Elijah was just, I don't know, like 3 months, 3 months old, and I just wanted to be with him and Andrew. And my husband, again, he came through for me. He's like, yes, like, okay, if this is how you're feeling, we're gonna figure it out. Go ahead and put your 2 weeks notice, and we're gonna take care of that. So my husband did, come through for me as well. But with that being said, guys, my husband has worked so hard and sometimes overworked to come through for me and the kids as well. And I do not believe that my husband would want any other guy, any other man, to come and do that for him. I don't think he would be okay with that. And I would absolutely not be okay with it either. But you see what I mean as far as roles go. Like, the husband is a provider. Another thing my husband would not be okay with is if someone else was coming to protect me and the kids. Something's going on, and some other guy just comes and protects us, and my husband doesn't get to protect us at all. That is his job. That is his role, a God-given role, in fact. I don't know about you guys, but would your husband like someone else leading you guys? Taking that role as a leader of your home? I don't think so. So I don't mean to come across as rude when I'm saying this, but there's certain roles that we have for a reason, and they're God-given roles. And us wives should take our roles serious as well as the men do. And like I said, I feel like sometimes women, speaking to my little brother, they don't know any better. And I'm just like, man, like, that's why community is very important. That's why the elderly, showing the younger girls are very important. That's why a mother's role is very important when, the daughter's growing up, and the mom has to, teach the daughter, like, hey, like, this is how it is, and this is how you love on your husband. This is a healthy relationship. This is a toxic relationship. And yeah, I don't know, I've had in my heart to share with you all, and just take this serious, man, because the enemy is the number one person that does not want us to fulfill our God-given roles, so that he can get in between and bring strain and stress in between marriages. And no, I just can't. Every time that there's a little bit of strain or stress, me and my husband have to sit down and re-look at the whole plan we have, or the systems in place or whatnot. Something has to change, because if something's getting broken or breaking, we have to stop and address it right away. And the enemy, of course, does not want that. But we do not serve the enemy. We serve God, and we know what to do. And so I hope that this is going to be encouraging, even like people that are single that are hearing me talk about this. Look at your future spouse with, yes, the grace, because I mean, with me and my husband got together, we were not near, as mature and all of that. But I will say that have that strong foundation, a true relationship with God, and that's going to be a good start. And guys, because this is YouTube, I will go ahead and add my caveat here. I am specifically speaking to couples that are a God-fearing couple that keep that strong foundation. I cannot speak on, marriages that are toxic, abusive, or a spouse is in danger. There's, counselors and therapists for that. But for me, I'm only speaking to my special needs parents that, can get an encouragement because personally I have had situations in the past where I get convicted by watching a podcast or get a reminder on how I need to take my role serious as a wife and a mother. And so this is the caveat that I do want to add, and I hope that this encourages at least one person, one couple out there. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, guys. I'm going to leave you with a little snippet here of our kids doing a little bit of worship, and my husband joining them here in a little bit. But I hope you guys have a great day. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment down below. It really means a lot for your support that you are giving here to my channel. And until next time, you guys, God bless.